So actually the topic for the discussion is the new paradigm in filmmaking. थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल है, लोग डर जाते हैं यार ये न्यू पैराडाइम क्या है, तो मैं शुरुआत में ही थोड़ी चीज़ें आसान कर देता हूँ. मार्टिन स्कॉर्सेसी की एक लाइन है कि टू मी सिनेमा इज जस्ट व्हाट इज इन द फ्रेम एंड व्हाट इज लेफ्ट आउट ऑफ इट. मतलब आप अपना कैमरा लगा दो, फ्रेम के अंदर जो आ जाए वो आपका सिनेमा है, जो बाहर रह जाए वो जिंदगी है, दुनिया है, लोग है. As simple as that may sound, actually this is the choice that creates literature, that creates films, that creates music. कि आप जिंदगी से, दुनिया से आप क्या चुनते हैं, और ये चुनने वाले लोग हैं, वो आर्टिस्ट है, वो फिल्म मेकर्स है, वो राइटर्स है. So our work is nothing but the choices that we have made, Rajat sir. But before that, before the choices that you made, what was it that made you? मतलब we know films, the Film Institute और उसके आगे की journey. लेकिन as a kid I am sure वही जो सिनेमा हम लोग सब देखते हैं, जो popular fare है, वही आपने भी देखा होगा. So how did the journey began?
You know, I don't remember if there was a first incident that decided that I would want to make films. I don't think there was anything like that. I was a film buff, but like you said, everybody in this country is a film buff. My father might have something to do with it. He was a big film buff. And I remember when I was 13, you know, in Delhi they show all the national award winning films every year. So it used to be in Vigyan Bhavan at that time. So when we were 12, 13, our father would take us for these films, which is unusual, which is not what a middle class man does with his family or to his family. He doesn't torture them like this. So I remember watching, for example, Manikol's Duvidha at the age of 13. So I'm sure my father had something to do with it. But pretty soon after that, by the time I was 15, I was certain I'm going to make films. How one should go about it or what should one do to achieve that, I had no idea. But this idea was firm in my head that I'm going to make films. And at the age of 16, I joined a film society in Delhi University. And that was my first introduction to world cinema, to Bresson, Bergman, Herzog. And it was quite a opening of the mind, you know, that this is possible with cinema. And yeah, after that, there was no looking back in a way. Not only, and this idea of what you want to make, of course, changes every year, you know. And I think that is a journey. The journey, I'm very convinced the journey is to find your own voice, you know, for any artist. Right. Because when I started, at least I can talk about myself, I remember the influences of people I admired or whose work I liked were very heavy on me. But slowly you have to work through that and to find an expression that is uniquely yours. Right. And when you're able to do that, then I think you're able to bring something to the world.
Right. And who told you about the Film Institute?
I knew about it. There was nobody. I just knew about it through the papers, through regular things. But my father had a printing press in Delhi, and it seemed impossible for me at that time that I could leave that and not work with him and let him down, you know, and go to FTI. But eventually, yeah, I made that big move of hurting your parents. And
पर ये जो थिएटर का स्टेंट हुआ वो उससे पहले शुरू हुआ या?
No, theatre was a complete accident for me. I went to Alliance Française to learn French and to find a girlfriend. My girlfriend had just left me. And there they had a small theatre group, and I walked in and I was hooked for life. That time I was already 20. So I didn't know about the existence of theatre till the age of 20. It was only cinema for me. But since then it has been to love affairs.
Right. Vinay ji, you were born in Bhojpur. You grew up all over Bihar.
Bhojpur, Bihar. There is Bhojpur here also.
So yeah, how were you inclined and when did you know?
Yeah, I was born in Bhojpur, the one that's in Bihar and not in your state. And that Bhojpur is also very nice, okay? And I went to a boarding school in Ranchi, and I grew up basically in a boarding school. My father was in police service, and as Rajat said, in a middle class family, you don't do much for entertainment and art. And my dad, he fortunately for me, he was a voracious reader. All the books I grew up, all the classics I grew up reading because it was already at home. But other than that, cinema was something that one would run away from boarding school and watch. It has another excitement to it. And film buffs, you know, from the very beginning. I did some theatre in school and some in college. Very minuscule, 2-3 plays. I liked it a lot. Stage gave me a different kind of freedom of expression. Another energy altogether. I felt really wonderful. But making that a career was something in my heart, but I could not bring it, you know, to my lips. So after I graduated from Allahabad University, which was also another request to my father that I want to study literature, क्योंकि साहित्य से प्रेम हो गया था मुझे, तो मुझे लगता था कि अगर साहित्य से प्रेम है तो जहाँ सुमित्रा नंदन पंत और सूर्यकांत त्रिपाठी निराला और महादेवी वर्मा और फिराक गोरखपुरी और हरिवंश राय बच्चन ऐसे जैसे लोग वहाँ पे हैं, तो वहाँ पे जाके मैं कॉलेज की पढ़ाई कर लूँगा तो थोड़ा सा तो कुछ तो छींटा मिलेगा कहीं. So I graduated from Allahabad University, and my dad insisted that I go for technical studies. So I went to New York actually to...
Graduated in Hindi literature or?
Yeah, Angrezi Sahitya or Hindi Sahitya. They were both my subjects. Hindi Sahitya was my elective. तो इसलिए नंबर थोड़े कम आए थे. And then I went to study MBA in New York, and I was in business school for a year.
Okay. That means something else.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately.
I would have been richer, at least. And so 1 saal, 2 semesters in State University of New York, and they had a wonderful drama program. So 1 semester I took play analysis as just a core requirement, as you know, you have to take these subjects. And we had to watch 3 plays and write critiques and go watch the play, stub the ticket into your review and critique, and you get graded into that. And it was great fun because otherwise I was doing economics and, you know, marketing and sales and all those, and it was this one subject that gave me lots of joy. And the first play that I saw was Peter Shaffer's Equus. And it's a very dark and a twisted play. Not that I am like that. And I was completely mesmerized. I was, you know, as Rajat said, that he doesn't have one moment where he could say that defined. For me, that was one moment. I remember I went back and I volunteered to usher so that I could watch the play for free. And I saw 8 shows in a row. And for 8 nights, it was like, yeah, I was completely, and I had read the play already, but I couldn't see the interpretation that was done on stage, and it was just so fascinating. When I read the play, I didn't know how the horses is going to come on stage, and when I saw it, every time, even the 8th time, goosebumps. I'm talking about it right now, and I'm getting goosebumps. It was so impactful, so powerful, and it moved me beyond words. And I just wanted to be a part of that world. And I remember when I went to the director and I said, how could I don't mind being backstage and ironing your clothes. I just want to be doing something with theater. And he sent me to a counselor. As you know, in America they have counselors if you want to know what should you study. हमारे यहाँ पे चाचा जी हैं, बुआ जी हैं, हमारे यहाँ ज़्यादा काउंसलर्स हैं.
कभी नहीं सुनते.
तो they actually advised me against it. They said it's you know, because I was surprisingly doing very well in business school. So then I said okay. So counselor भी वही कह रहे हैं जो बुआ जी कहती थी. Then I quit business school and I joined drama school.
we were talking about finding your voice, Rajat sir. So, वो कहाँ Film Institute से did you get an inkling?
No, on the contrary. I think when you study for something, you get more confused. Yeah, it's true. Because Film Institute was, I learnt a lot, hell of a lot. And yet, because you start seeing really the great masters, and first of all, what it does, it gives you a huge inferiority complex. You say, shit, I'm never going to be able to make this, you know. These are masters, these are great artists, these are genius. And they know so much. So that feeling of not knowing enough or not knowing anything was huge, you know. And not just with me, but I think everybody around at the institute. And I think a lot of us, I can talk of FTII for example, a lot of people who come out of FTII don't make their first films because they're still so vulnerable. I don't want to expose myself, you know. That fear is huge. But somehow you have to overcome that fear to make a first film, to accept that you will be ridiculed. You're actually putting yourself out in a very vulnerable spot when you create a work, because anybody can walk by and say, what is this rubbish, you know. So, but you're putting yourself out there, and I think that's a big challenge for any artist. But the influences, after FTI, I worked with Kumar Shani on 2 films, and with Mani Kaul on 1 film, and they are both absolutely my teachers. But having worked with them for 3 years, I remember when I made Tarana, it was like I'm trying to make a Kumar Shani film. You know, now it is very clear to me. And even Private Detective, which was a few years later, and which was a very different script and a kind of film that Kumar would have made. It was a murder mystery, a thriller. But still in my head, I remember thinking, how would Kumar treat this, you know? That doesn't leave you very soon. I really think it's a struggle to, and the only way to find your voice is to keep working, is to keep producing work, to keep writing, to keep thinking. And eventually, hopefully, if you have a voice, you'll find it. Very often, you don't also.
Sometimes you are struggling all your life and probably create a filmography out of that.
Yeah, and that's quite sad, actually.
Sir, Private Detective की बात आई है. There was a very interesting thing, the way you made the film. Crowdfunding was...
that was Raghu Romeo.
That was Raghu Romeo. Oh, okay.
So after Private Detective, which just happened by chance, there was a television channel called BITV, which opened for a few months. Okay. And I submitted the script, they liked it. Within 2 months, we were shooting it. And by the time we finished shooting it, the producers had disbanded. So then we couldn't finish the film for 2 years because there was no producer. Eventually, by 97, I finished it. It never got released because nobody owned it really. But my main pursuit has always been to make films. And that has been a struggle. To raise money for your next one has constantly been a struggle. Otherwise, yeah, so acting jobs come when they do, but it's not very often. I don't act too much. I try and do 1 film a year at the most.
What is the process like after, I mean, going on from 1 film to the next? I think Mixed Doubles was the next film after.
Yeah. After Raghu Romeo, I also realized I have to make films on a very small budget if I have to keep making films.
Your kind of films?
Yeah, films which give me creative independence and so on. So Raghu Romeo, like I said, was with borrowed money and it bombed, and I had to return money to people, and that was the first and the only time of my life when I actually got into a kind of a depression, because I had not that kind of money to return to people. And the other part of the depression was that, my God, I made this 8 years after Private Detective, and now this has bombed, so maybe I'll have to wait another 8 years. That was not a good thought. But fortunately, a gentleman called Sunil Doshi saw Raghu Romeo, and he came to me and he said, I have 60 lakh rupees with me. Can you make a film in that much? I said, yes, I can. And he said, what is it? You have some ideas? So I gave him 2 or 3. and he picked up mixed doubles. And then things started looking up for a brief period. Same Sunil Doshi gave us money for Bheja Fry next year, which became a freak hit. We don't know why. And that
Sagar was on your crew in...
Sagar had assisted on mixed doubles and on Raghu Romeo. Yeah, so that, and then for a brief period after Bheja Fry, for 2-3 years, Vinay became a huge star. For me also things became easier in terms of looking for money. But it lasted, I think, about 3 years. That whole phase, that euphoria of a change is going to happen in cinema, at that time it felt like that because multiplexes had just come in.
Right.
So it looked like multiplex is the space for this kind of cinema. But that also didn't last because by 2009, 2010, I think mainstream cinema had made a big comeback and even that little space was taken away.
छोटे फिल्मों की तदबीर छोटी ही है ना, तो हम small films, they can't be mainstream commercial films. And if we think like in Europe that, you know, the small, meaningful, story-oriented, character-oriented films are going to become the mainstream cinema, I don't think it's going to be, it's possible in India. It has to coexist, you know, with the big budget, mega blockbuster commercial
films. But it's, Jayadrat, it's not true, I mean, it's true of India, but it's not only restricted to India. Look at the kind of shit Hollywood makes. Year after year after year. They've stopped making films about people. It's either superhero films or the animation films.
Absolutely, right.
So there is a Woody Allen or a Coen Brothers or Martin Scorsese and that's it. What else comes out of that? And it's the same for us. We make 1,500 films a year and at the end of the year you can't remember 5, you know. Which, okay, maybe that one wasn't bad and that's it. Right. Which is a shame. I think we should kill ourselves. What is this shit? In a country of 1.2 billion, we make such few good films. It's terrible. And there's nobody to blame. It's not about money. Forget films. I'm saying, where is theatre? In such a big country, and what does good theatre take? What does it take to make a good play? It only takes your passion, your dedication, your vision. That's it. But where are the great plays? Which was the last wonderful play that you saw? Luckily, our traditional arts are still strong. Classical music, classical dance, they are still strong. But for cinema, theatre, I think...
Even साहित्य, हिंदी साहित्य में पिछले दशक में कितना लिखा गया है, आपको भी पता है, हमें भी पता है. और हिंदी साहित्य के नाम पे क्या-क्या लिखा जा रहा है, आपको भी पता है, हमें भी पता है. तो अचानक क्या हो गया? पिछले 2 दशक में हमारे साहित्यकारों को क्या हो गया? ये देश भी तो साहित्यकारों का ही देश है. तो मतलब हमें वो सवाल, वो प्रश्न खुद से पूछना होगा कहीं कि हम सब MBA करना चाहते हैं या जो पैशन हमारा साहित्य के लिए, कला के लिए, सिनेमा के लिए, आर्ट और कल्चर के लिए जो होना चाहिए वो सिर्फ किताबी है या
फेस्टिवल्स में तक सीमित है.
वही.
अब एक अभी ऐसा माहौल, ऐसा एक परसेप्शन हो रहा है लोगों में कि ये डिजिटल के आने की वजह से फिल्में जो मल्टीप्लेक्स फिर भी था कि छोटे छोटे थिएटर्स थे तो एक खास ऑडियंस तक आप पहुंच सकते थे जो नीश ऑडियंस कहा जाता है. अभी डिजिटल के माध्यम से आप एक्चुअली अपने फिल्टर करके कि इसका सोशो इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड क्या है, इसका एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड कितना है, इसने कौन सी फिल्में देखना इसको पसंद है, बहुत ही फिल्टर करके आप अपनी ऑडियंस के पास पहुंच सकते हैं. क्या ऐसे एक माहौल बनेगा जब people like us, people like us will be empowered to make or is it still a perception?
In my opinion, it's not a perception because you know and I know that things are happening. I've done a web series already. You are involved in a web series. And it's a new platform. And I'm no expert to say that this platform is going to bomb or this platform. जैसे एक बार .com जब शुरू हुआ था तो कितने पंडितों ने कई बातें कही थी कि ये .com रहने वाला नहीं है. कितने लोगों ने कहा था कि ये यही भविष्य है. So the good ones they have remained and the one that came जो भीड़ में आए थे वो आज खो चुके हैं. तो कहने का मतलब ये कि वो I mean as far as I know I'll have to wait and see that how much it empowers storytellers and filmmakers, how much do we reach our audience? If everybody has an audience, I don't know the maths.
Rajat sir, I think you made your best film with Aankho Dekhi. I mean,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
the best is yet to come.
I agree too. Yes.
I think it's one of the cult films. I think it's going to be remembered for a long time, for years to come. How did things change after that? I don't want to be sarcastic.
Things don't change there, unfortunately. I've made 6 films now, and one would think it becomes easier after having made these films. But last 3.5 years, I'm still looking for funding for my next film. What I've done is I've written 4 scripts in the last 4 years, but it's still impossible to get money for anything that I want to do. And I don't want to be bitter about this, Jayadrit. I'm not complaining. I'm not whining about it. I'm saying this is how things are, and we have to accept it.
Right.
And there is no way out of this. And I also realize that this is a choice that I have made, that I'm saying this is the kind of cinema that excites me, this is what I want to do.
Right.
And if I make that choice, then I'll have to live with all the consequences of that choice. But the truth is that for this kind of cinema, it's still very, very difficult.
I think this is the right time to open it up to a few questions from the audience. एक बात का ध्यान रखें, जो हमारे सवाल है, वो जो आज का विषय है, उसके बारे में हो. And I reserve the right to reject the question.
So while we are in the process of learning something, we tend to get inspired by certain works or by some personalities. So how can we prevent our own inspirations from suppressing our originality?
कठिन सवाल हमें दे दिया रजत साहब ने. I think somewhere, I don't know if I understood your question right, but I think somewhere the answer is in your question itself. Because if you do have an understanding of your originality, at least if you have an understanding of something like that existing, I'm sure you would find a way to retain, your own voice somewhere. Yes, you do get inspired by, as you said, a verse or a personality or a film or cinema or a dance or a short story or a novel. Inspirations can come in so many different ways from any nooks and corners. But जैसा कि आपने कहा कि आप अपनी मौलिकता बरकरार रखना चाहती हैं, वो आप अगर आप में शिद्दत है तो I'm sure you will find your own way to retain it.
I had also spoken about it earlier. The struggle is to find your own voice. And I understand exactly what you're saying. That the people we admire, they enter our being and we may start copying them or copying their style. But the thing is to let everything enter you and let it all mix inside you and then find a unique expression which is only you. I have a very nice quote, that somebody said. It's a professor of science somewhere in the US, and a PhD student went and said, "Sir, what should I do?" And the professor said, "You should do only that only you can do." And I think that's a fantastic quote. And if we could all do that only we could do, there will be so many original voices, and there will be so many unique expressions. It would be a beautiful world.
Key to producing something good changes every year. So as it changes every year, we grow, the standards for producing something which grows. But there is a big ladder of confusion which comes. And to cross that ladder is a very big thing. Because you know that you want to produce something, but you just don't know how. And I think you must have been in this stage also. So how to cross that ladder? Because it's in itself is a very vague question, but it signifies a lot.
You have to push yourselves. I suppose that's the only thing. You have to believe that these fears that you have are real, of course. But beyond the fears, there is something worthwhile. It's really a leap of faith. How do you know when, for example, if you saw the play yesterday, when we were rehearsing for the play, we had no idea what that play is going to be eventually. We started with King Lear, and that was the process. We started with King Lear. We knew that we don't want to do the play as written by Shakespeare, because that would make no sense to our times and to us, to our experience. We knew that we want to bring our experience into it, and yet we wanted King Lear to be there, the play. So we started looking at the themes of the play. Old age, betrayal, daughter and father, loss of power, blindness, bastard brother. These are all themes in the play. And we started experimenting with those themes, improvising with those themes. Vinay and Atul, who were two actors, and I, we would meet every day and we would keep working. And we started telling our stories. My experience with my father, Vinay's experience with his father, his daughters, my daughter. And the play came out of that. But the point is that every day of rehearsal, we had no idea what the final play is going to be. It could have been a disaster. And that's a risk you take every time you create anything new. You have to be ready to fall flat on your face. And great artists also make bad films, or write bad books, ordinary books. Woody Allen makes a great film and next film is very mediocre. But that can't stop you from working. You have to have that leap of faith every time, that what I'm going to do means something to me and it might mean something to the world. It may be crap also, but hopefully it will mean something.
We are talking of this digital medium and all that. We were grown up on cinema, sculpting in time and space. And now we are watching films on the 2-inch screen of our mobile phone. And has the language of cinema changed? Will it evolve? Will it jeopardize films completely?
यार जब मैं स्कूल में था तो मैं तो भाग के पिक्चर देखता था. तो उस समय का जो फ़लसफ़ा ये था कि किसी तरह फ़िल्म देखने को मिल जाए बस. अब क्या है कि फ़िल्म आपके पास चल के आ रही है. मुझे अभी भी लगता है कि जो एक कलेक्टिव एक्सपीरियंस होता है सिनेमा घर में बैठ के फ़िल्म देखने का, हाँ, और मतलब 100 ऐसे लोगों की एनर्जी जिनको आप नहीं जानते हैं, लेकिन आप उस एनर्जी को रिसीव कर रहे हैं एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग. यू सिटिंग विथ, like yesterday there were 1,000 odd people, and let me tell you, I physically felt the energy that came from all of you. And that's when we decided that we had a great audience in Bhopal, we had an okay audience in Gurgaon. So your collective experience as an audience, and of course it was an individual experience for each and every one of you, but it does become collective. And the fact that whatever joy you took out from the play, it has a lot to do with watching it with 1,000 people. If you had seen the same play with 100 people, I'm guaranteeing you it would have been a different experience. So cinema घर में जाके cinema देखने का लोगों के साथ there is a collective experience of an individual, which I find very dear and very special. And it moves me in more ways than not. तो एक तो वो है. दूसरा है कि आप अपने फ़ोन पे फिल्म देख लेते हैं, तो वो तो होमवर्क करने जैसा है कि अच्छा मैं उसके बीच में आधा घंटा पहले देख लूँगा और इसके बाद भिंडी चढ़ा दूँगा, और जब तक वो भिंडी में तरी लग रही है मैं फिर इंटरवल तक देख लूँगा, और इसके बाद फिर दाल में छौंक डाल के खाना खा के बाकी का देख लूँगा. तो इट्स अ चॉइस यू मेक. And some of the choices that many individuals don't make, they become a popular choice. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm not very big on popular choice. I don't know why. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि जहाँ सिनेमा, थिएटर, साहित्य की बात है, उसके लिए जो आपकी वैयक्तिक अनुभूति है उसका बहुत महत्व है मेरे लिए. तो आप खुद स्वयं क्या महसूस करते हैं, वो आपको कितना देती है, आप उससे कितना लेते हैं, कितना आप अनुग्रहित होते हैं, कितना लाभान्वित होते हैं, ये आपके दिमाग पे, आपकी आत्मा पे, आप कौन हैं उस पर बहुत निर्भर करता है. तो मेरे लिए इससे ज़्यादा मुझे नहीं आता है.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, if you permit one last question. Sir, in a country like India, films and literature is something that influence the people the most. Is it? So, मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ. Sir, मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि हमारे इंडिया में the most of the audience is attracted towards the mainstream cinema or the commercial cinema that basically purposes for entertainment and nothing else. But the kind of movies you guys make is, of course, the marvelous ones. So what can we do so that the mainstream people, so that the people can get a bit away from those mainstream cinema and get inspired from the cinema that you make?
It's a very long process, and I really think it's about educating yourself. And education is very far back in our agenda as a country, which is right. You know, you still have to give enough food to people, and you have to give them water and sanitation. We're still talking about toilets for everybody, you know. So we are very far from real education, you know. And art comes at a higher level of education. It's not about, education does not mean you know how to write your name or how to read something, you know. Education means really an ability to look around and to be conscious of what is around. So that will happen eventually. I think in the next 50 years, hopefully, we will start talking.
Next 50 years is a long time to go, sir.
It's not.
It's a short time for समाज परिवर्तन में बहुत छोटा समय है.
Exactly.
This is true.
We'll be gone, but you'll be making films at that time. So you'll have a good audience.
Thank you.
Javed Saab is going to be here tomorrow. उन्होंने कहीं ये कहा था कि जब किसी ने उनको पूछा कि यार ऐसी सिनेमा ऐसे फिल्में बनती है आजकल तो क्या how do we correct it, you know? He said नहीं फिल्में तो वैसी बनेगी जिस तरह का समाज है. आप समाज की मरम्मत करो, फिल्में खुद ठीक हो जाएगी. तो we have a bigger task at hand here. And occasions like this, you know, gatherings like this is kind of doing its bit to provide that kind of a conducive environment, you know, उस तरह का माहौल पैदा करता है जिसमें फिल्में तो खैर हम लोग बनाते रहेंगे, लेकिन ऑडियंस बनाने की भी ज़रूरत है. तो ऑडियंस भी अगर थोड़ी बन जाए फिल्मों के साथ तो फिर और मज़ा आ जाए. Thank you so much. Thank you for being such a lovely audience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And stay tuned.